I'm officially at that point in my Saturn return where I've had to just admit to myself that I've been doing things that really are not for me. I've heard other people talk about this and how you just kind of have to be so radically accepting of yourself. Well, you don't have to be, but it makes the Saturn return a lot easier. I've heard that from so many different people who talk about their Saturn return. So I kind of like, I knew it was coming. I just didn't think it was going to look like what it looks like. Because, of course, if you're blinding yourself to something, how would you know what it really is going to be? Duh. Okay. Anyways, moving on. I think it's partially because Saturn just went direct, Neptune just went direct. And in Saturn's motion direct this time, it's going to be passing over my Saturn again, which is the final pass for me. So, like, I'm off the peak of the mountain. Thank God. Even though I'm still in the return, right? But, like, hey ho, we're done. Okay. We get to go downhill this time. Right, some downhill motion, not at the top of it. But I've been thinking about this. Spirit has had me just like slow down, take a step back, look at things from a bigger perspective. Because when you go through your Saturn return, like you got to think about that's like 29 years of transit. So and it's a serious planet. Saturn is so serious. Oh my God. Jovial sometimes, joyful, yeah, sometimes, sure. Serious though a lot of the times. And one of the biggest lessons that I've had during the Saturn return is that I just don't have time for everything, especially as someone who has their Saturn in Aries. I'm always wanting to fire start new thing. I want to do that and I want to do that and I want to start that and I want to go do that. But you literally, if you do that all the time, where's the structure? There is none. So over the previous like couple months, crazy that this astrology timing is always wild, right? But anyways, over the previous couple months, it's become so clear in my focal points in life that I can't do everything I was trying to do. Nor was I supposed to do everything. Literally, Spirit and I was having a conversation with Spirit the other day, and I realized I've been working outside of the lane of Spirit in a couple things in my life. Hold on now. Roll the back. Spirit's what I do for like all the stuff in my life. So like, hold on. No wonder I was feeling like my immune system was down a little bit. I was outside of my like bubble of protection or directions. Like Spirit has me on assignment constantly all the time, right? Whether I like it or not, that's just what I am. So embrace it, right? So with Spirit having me on assignment constantly and consistently, there's a couple things I was doing that were outside of that assignment without even realizing it. I thought from my muggle perspective, my mortal person, not being Spirit, right? We're all spirits, but like the Spirit, you know what I mean? Okay. From my perspective, I was like, no, I have to go do those things. Duh. I gotta do them because of course. Only for Spirit to come in and be like, well, did I tell you could go do that? Did I give you, did I? No, I guess you didn't. Dang. And I've been through phases in my practice, in my training, where I've had to rebel from the spirits and I've had to do things differently. And like that is all well and good. And it's honestly necessary sometimes because like, don't let the spirits push you around. That's how I feel about it. But also they are not pushing me around anymore and they're very helpful, you know? So I got to get back on track. And I'm realizing now that I'm like slowing down a little bit and I'm back on track. Oh my God. A new 29-year cycle opening up. I don't know what's going to happen in all of it. Clearly, obviously, duh. And also, there's about to be some crazy twists and turns. And, oh dear God, okay. The rewards of Saturn are strange. The rewards of Saturn are almost always more work. So first of all, there's that, you know. And this is also the first time in probably my whole life, okay, that I now have time to rest. Whoa. I know. Whoa. I finally have time to rest and slow down and relax. I'm having to teach myself to not work all the time. That's how I feel about it. Okay, we're getting there. We're working on it. And I'm laughing too because all of that time and space that I have to rest and chill, relax and receive, thankfully after a tough trial, not all smile, there's stuff that's gonna get put in the place of that eventually. See what I mean? Saturn's like, take some time off. You got work to do soon. Oh, dear God. Anyways, I haven't done a Saturn return update video in a while, but Saturn turning around and going direct. That's how I feel about it. We're going to make it. I'm going to make it through this Saturn return. That's for dang sure. I am feeling more mature recently. Somebody on my comments many videos ago in this series told me that my Saturn return has had me not look like a teenager anymore. And I laughed. You know, I went to a salon the other day. And it was a young lady who was checking me in, and they take IDs. They like, you have to give your ID to the front desk person. I don't know why, but apparently it's their policy. Whatever, I wasn't worried about it. She looked at my ID, she looked at the birth year, she looked at me, she looked back at the ID, she looked back at the computer, and she said, you look so much younger than you actually are. What? I'm not even 30, little miss. What do you mean? Thankfully, though, I'm grateful I do look younger, I suppose, but still. I was like, I'm not even that old, but also... Okay, yeah, it just felt like a backhanded compliment that she didn't even realize was backhanded. I was like, all right, fine. If that's the world that we live in, that's where we live. Also, the Saturn return has been really weird in the sense that, like, how do I explain? I can't believe I had, like, an old lady moment. I'm not even old. I don't feel old. I know I'm like older than the 20-somethings in their younger years, but I'm still a 20-something who's old. Where did that come from? Super strange. It probably just gets stranger as you do age. Anyways, though, I've had this like really, because I also have Jupiter in Capricorn. Super, guys. Super placement, okay? And it's in my 8th house. Who decided on that one, okay? Because it wasn't me. Kind of. I like it in some situations, but anyways, moving on. I've been looking at, because it's my Saturn return, my Saturn ruled placements are like coming into the forefront too. And I'm realizing sort of this really expansive picture for things that are going on in my future and like things I need to stay on track for and things I need to work for and how I'm going to get there and alterations. There's also a lot of manifestations and consecrations that are happening right now too, which is to be expected. Okay, it's the beginning of one thing and the end of another, so makes sense. But yeah, it's been weird in a good way. The realizations of truth are always strange, aren't they? At least I think so. These truths, though, they're a lot easier than some of the truths that I've looked at in my life, so if that's all right, that's fine with me. You know, I'm also remembering a bunch of versions of myself where I'm like, oh, that was the real me. I wasn't doing that for any other reason other than, like, I was being myself. Okay. I'm, like, reintegrating those parts of myself, too. So that's good. Anyways, gratitude, reverence, and love to you. If you're going through your Saturn return, too, hopefully it's as easy for you as it possibly can be. I feel like, finally, I can get a break. Most of my life being a Saturn-ruled, Scorpio-ruled, both of them, person, king of the underworld, anybody? Like, I've had to do a lot of work to maintain hierarchical positions, and a lot of it goes unseen. Crazy. Anyways, though, finally, they're like, just chill for a little bit. I don't know what to do with myself. Just kidding, that's not true. I'm reading books, and I'm chilling with my cats, who are adorable, by the way. Look at the cute little babies. They're so cute. The cuties, the cuties. I love my sweet boys, but they're good blanket warmers, too. I love them. They're definitely more than that. They're also keeping me very cozy right now. So anyways, again, gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep up the brew you do. I will too, which recently has been a lot of talking to spirit and resting. And I'm not going to complain. Yeah, I was going to say ever, but every once in a while we're human. Complaining isn't too bad, right? Sometimes we need the expression of exhaustion or misery, and then we can be done with it, but it is what it is. Anyways, I'll talk to you soon. Also true.